Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher, and today we're going to take a look at the tangle Assunta from Zentangle, the Zentangle original tangle. All right, so this is a neat one. It's different in its setup. So it's kind of a grid pattern, but the grid is actually and I am hesitating here because we're just going to dig right into it. Uh, I'll leave myself plenty of room. So a little horizontal line, then a vertical line, then a horizontal, then a vertical. It's amazingly forgiving. And then what I've done is I'll do it across this way. I'm trying to space them somewhat evenly. It's hard to judge when you're doing these shapes and they're different, right? It's not just dots. It's not just a grid with lines. All right, and then I kind of fill in. And what I have aimed to do, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, is like so for this horizontal line, I was like, okay, let me look right here, midway. It didn't quite make it, but it's close enough. Close enough works. And then same thing here. And so we're just continuing to alternate the direction of this little straight line. And like I said, this one takes concentration a bit, even into the pattern. And it's neat to have some of those, especially if they turn out rather cool. And most all tangles do, because otherwise, why would we do them, right? Uh, but like I said, it's a neat tangle, but it does take a little bit of concentration, and again, don't worry about things being even or whatnot. As you can kind of see, it's like this row goes up a little bit, but not to worry. It all ends up neat in the end. Let me point out one thing. The length, you can play with the length of these lines. I keep doing mine long. I was trying to do them even shorter here. This would have been a great size when I was doing it on a bigger paper. But if you take a look at both my step out and the step out from Zentangle, those are in the description section. Uh, you'll see the difference because theirs is very small, and what ends up happening is the shape that you create changes a little bit based on the length of this line. So you can have a lot of fun with that. All right. So once you have this set, then pick one direction that your tile is going to sit at, and we're going to focus on the horizontal lines first, and I'm going to do them in columns. And what we're going to do is using the take off and land concept, we're going to go from either end. We're taking off on either end and landing on the vertical line below it. Let's see if I can make mine a little bit less. Oh, that's all right. And it's kind of an S shape. Like that. Mine just end up looking like Hershey's Kisses. They just do. So there's one. And the takeoff and land concept, let me explain that, is the takeoff is we're tracing over a little bit of the existing line, and then we take off from it, make our shape, and then when we land, we trace over where we're landing. Like that. And so all of these horizontal, so don't, this one I'm not turning my tile yet. We'll be doing it 4 times. But we're just every horizontal line. All right. And then if you did, what would this would, I don't know what it would equate to. I did 4 across, 4 down. Then your end result should look something like this. So what we're going to do, and I have it this way for me to draw. So we're going to turn it 90 degrees. So now I have new horizontal line here. It's rinse and repeat. However, it's a little like eyeball confusing because we have to remember. Oh yeah, our line was right here. That vertical line was right there. Sometimes I'll end up doing the opposite side first. I don't know why. This sometimes just what I do. So that was like, okay, there it is, and then I'll come back and do this side. Either way, it seems like because now those lines are disguised, I guess you could say, for whatever reason. Like I said, doing it on this side. Oh, you know what it is? It's so that it's because I can see. I can see that here. Sort of, my pen is somewhat covering. I could turn the tile every time, but not on this one. I'm not gonna. And then just finding. Oh, and trying to work in a column just to have some order kind of helps. So what's interesting is, and especially if you, well, even if you did it a little bit bigger, had more steps. Because what I did one earlier, because we did this today is Thursday and it's Tangle Time Day, and this is the tangle that I chose for us to play with. I did some with a lot more spaces. It ended up looking like that. Um, but you get this kind of zigzaggy, stair steppy type of shape on turn two. And so what you can do is you can take a look at the step out and kind of check. It's like, okay, looks like I got them all. And then we're turning it one more time. Well, second to last time. And this one, luckily, I have this, it looks like just this one open one. And again, it's the same stroke that we're doing. But then we have to find, okay, so that was one. Oh, here's the other one. And again, you just have to remember where those lines were. And this, take it slow. This makes for a nice meditative tangle because you have to focus. And one of the things about mindfulness exercises is having that singular focus on one thing. That's what's neat about Zentangle is we're just focusing in on the pen, its movement, what it's doing, the step that we're doing at the moment, and that's it. And then then we move on to the next step. And if we just keep that focus there, that's how you get the benefit from it. I think I got all of these. This on the third turn, it creates these neat ribbony type of shapes. And then, I already turned it. So then one last time, and this we do kind of have an open one right here. But one last time. But as you can see, as it's filling up, it's just takes a little bit more patience and concentration to figure out where you're at, Okay, and then I guess I'm moving up to here. And it is neat to kind of have these checks in the middle, just of the overall shape. I just thought that was so interesting when we were doing it. And I'm like, wow, look at that. Oh, that's interesting. And then that's it. And we create this interesting pattern. Now, the fun is just begun. So you can then it's decorating time. I'm just going to do one. Well, I already did that on another one. This is one of those haven't quite thought it out. But you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something similar to what is in the sample of from Zentangle, and I don't remember. Now I'm going to look because I see what they did. That's right. But you can decorate however you wish. They did kind of an orb with a big shine in the center, or really it was just a nice thick line. I could go grab a thicker pen and do this part. We'll see if I can grab it in one minute or less. Although I don't know if I like how that's coming out. Yeah, now I do. It was just kind of being a little sticky there for a minute. I'll go back and adjust them. But there's tons of ways in which you can um, decorate this. This is but one. And then they did kind of a an aura'd triangle. It's kind of a neat. This is kind of a neat combination, and I liked seeing it, and I hadn't tried it yet, so I'm trying it now. But you could simply just, shade them. You could, fill in sections. You could aura the entire section, and if you notice, you have two different shapes here. One is, the one I'm working on, which mine end up looking like, we said Hershey's Kisses or figs or we said, I think garlic was in there. But you also have the pattern in the centers, and if you're familiar with the Tangle cadent, we have that, what looks like a cadent pattern in the middle. So neat. All right. So now, and actually, here's what I'm thinking. Oh, no, I'm loosely putting it around because I was thinking I'm just going to fill it in gray because it is rather small, so that makes it kind of hard to get real elaborate when it's tiny. But I do have another idea along with that. And sometimes it's nice to just fill it in with just the graphite and using the tortillon to spread it evenly around. And this is actually this tortillon is not so big. It's not. It's kind of keeping the graphite out of the middle a little bit and creating a gradient. Yay! And yeah, that's better than what I was expecting. I still can. I have some little playing around that I might do with. Oh no, I need to find my other colorless blender. But there we go. That's it. How fun is that? And actually, as I'm looking, I'm like going, okay, those first ones were rather thick. Well, I will fiddle around with this a little bit so that they're kind of even. I can fiddle around with that later. All right. So, like I said, neat tangle. Here are some other. This I played with a lot a while ago. Whoops, let me get that in there. And we put. This is actually a fragment, but it's looks like halabow, just a cross kind of halabow in the background, and then filling in on the outsides of that. But then this, I kind of put some light because this is a tan tile. Um, but put some little lines down at the base, and that's kind of a neat thing to do, and added some shading down there. And as I said, yeah, I was playing around. This one hadn't really finished, but that's it. On a like a smaller scale. This one in process as well. I was doing it on the more Renaissance side, and this one I auraed the caded shapes, and then I was in the process of filling them in. This is a testimony to draw it bigger than you think, especially if you have limited time. Because I was like, well, I'll finish it later. It's okay. This one, pretty much done. I think I was gonna goof around with it a little bit more, but it looks fine as it is. And this one I used colored pencils and stuff on it just because I wanted to, and it's fun. But this one I did obviously bigger than the other ones, so it's neat. More on this line. But what's so nice is that at first it was like, okay, these are not lining up. This is a bit uneven, but in the end, it doesn't matter. This one, just a side note, I did an aura around the entire pattern, and you can kind of see how that, it adds something to it if you aura that outside. It's kind of an interesting finishing touch. And if you're following daily, there's that tangle, and I was thinking I would fill that in with that. Oh, where is it? Oh, right here. 3 and 3 around the outside. I might do an extra aura and then do this around it. I haven't quite decided yet, but when I saw that, I was like, "Ooh, well, I'm gonna have to do another aura, and we'll have fun with that." I was even thinking about doing it inside these little auras, but not sure yet. That's the fun of playing. All right, so hope you enjoyed this. I'm gonna do the two good ones. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, would love to have you click like. Feel free to share it, leave comments, and if you liked it enough to see more, would love to have you be a subscriber to the channel. I mentioned the description section for links to the step outs. Below that, though, ways to connect with me. So it's basically a link to my website where you can find information on the classes I teach. So if you would like to enjoy playing around with a tangle, and pretty much nobody knows what we're doing beforehand, except for me. And sometimes I don't know too far in advance because I will decide, at the last minute. And it's just a lot of fun. And there's no pressure. You can finish your tile. You can not finish your tile. You can just play around with it and not make it look like a finished tile. It's just a heck of a lot of fun. So would love to have you join us sometime. Also below that, if you happen to be on Facebook and would like to, I was trying to think of the right word. If you'd like to hang out with some fellow Tangle addicts, we would love to have you. We do have a really great group of people, on the calls and those that happen to be on Facebook. So we would love to have you. A word of warning: it's a private group, and I do have, I think I have 4 quote unquote questions. 2 are actual questions that are required, and I do list that on there, and 4 to be able to gain access. So just a little note on that. And I think that's it. So thanks so much for watching, and I wish you happy tangling.